Today, we discuss breaking news from the basement. The spider in the corner winked at me, and it really grossed me out. I mean, do spiders wink? Do spiders have eyelids? Ugh, better not to contemplate that too far. No, seriously, today we have actual data on the release of Perfect Order. We have pre-release prices coming out, and spoiler, they're coming in soft. We are beginning to see some of the things that I hoped for coming to fruition. I wanted to see softer prices. I want this market to get bent over a knee, and I want both of the cheeks to be spanked until they turn bright red. That's what I want, and we're going to see if it can happen. LCSs have held their pre-release events last weekend where people are opening the build and battles. They're doing the face-to-face thing. Some of the single prices are leaking out into the market. We're going to take those single prices, juxtapose them against what we saw with Journey Together last year, which is a set with pretty similar analogs to Perfect Order. And then we're going to discuss the broader economic data that came out this week, specifically CPI and, you guessed it, energy prices. So to start, a parameter for most new releases, Ascended Heroes and Phantasmal Flames notwithstanding, most Pokemon new releases see the single prices be at their short-term peak in the pre-release weekends. Because when the broader release happens and everybody starts opening their booster boxes and you get these packs into the hands of collectors and people cracking, rippers, shippers, whatever, then the singles that the person doesn't want, they hit the market, and the price for the single dips. Meanwhile, card shops trying to get rid of their supply because they want to realize the return on their purchases, right? Pretty basic stuff. So let's look. Let's look at some of the prices 1 week in advance of the Perfect Order broader release. So we have the Golden Zygarde, $285. Zygarde SIR, $200. Starmie SIR, $115. Meowth SIR, $200. Clefable, $100. Pokemon Center ETB, $135. And really excited about this one, the booster box, $199 from Flipside Gaming on eBay as of Friday the, 20th? Yes, Friday the 20th. By the way, booster box that's fewer than $200. Pretty freaking sweet, right? So if the theory is that singles will reduce in price as supply hits the market, we could expect reductions in some of the cards that I mentioned, which would also would pull some of the other cards into the maelstrom with it. So let's look at what Journey Together did after its release weekend. You had the Lily's Clefairy go from $350 to $175. You had the Salamence, $170 to $104. You had the N Zoroark, $135 to $82. And the Bellibolt, $144 to $82. And what happened to the booster box in that time frame was fascinating, because you would expect by those data points that I just discussed that the booster box would fall well below $200 and hit the MSRP mark. But it didn't. My theory is that we were just in the beginning phases of the just the insane growth in that period was astounding. So you had like Prismatic just came out, and everybody, if you didn't know Pokemon was coming then, you knew after Prismatic. So people go into Journey Together and they're like, let's go. This is the next big thing. We're going to buy, hold, seal, whatever. But now, a year later, we have no Destined Rivals on the horizon. We have singles that in their pre-release states are coming out soft. And on top of that, we have economic data that is, I don't want to say as bad as it gets, but guys, look, this is pretty serious. So, CPI came out this week. We had a 3.5 CPI print. That's Consumer Price Index. It measures the inflation year over year. And that 3.5 print was led by fuel costs. Okay? 3.5 print was 50 basis points ahead of what the consensus rate was going to be, which was 3.0, 2.9 to 3.0. And we printed a 3.5 led by fuel costs. And fuel costs, as you no doubt have noticed, have trickled through to everybody in the United States. You know, if there's one thing to know about the United States, it's that we suck gas. And we enjoy sucking gas. And so this has an impact on everybody in this country, unless you're one of the lucky people with, like, you know, good public transit, which, I don't know, what are you, 1%? So everybody sees higher gas prices. You have an inflation print that's higher. And look, these higher gas prices, it would affect everybody. It affects the gig economy. You know, your Ubers, DoorDash, Kiki delivery service. Everybody is going to feel a little bit of a pinch. And what else happens to people when gas prices start to go up? Well, then they start to sit in the corner and they start to bite their nails and they start to wonder, oh shoot, is the end actually coming? Is this the end? And then when that happens, the desirability of collectibles, the investability of it all, starts to get shaky. Journey Together didn't have to deal with that. The only thing Journey Together had to deal with was a insane tariff decision, which only temporarily tanked the market. April was bad of last year, but by May, guess what? All-time highs. It wasn't a sustained event. It was as close to a black swan as we've seen since the COVID dump back in 2020. And the market recovered just fine, and Pokemon just kept doing its thing. But this time is different. Unemployment is going up. Available jobs going down. Inflation going up. And amidst that, we have Perfect Order set to release. And look, the single prices for the pre-release are coming in soft. So what happens? What do I think happens? Well, I think you could expect to see 40 to 50% declines in those single prices, which would drive the highest value from, you know, that the Golden Zygarde. It would drive that from 350 to about 175 or so, maybe a little higher. I think 200 will be a good benchmark for that, which calls into question who then is going to buy booster boxes to acquire that card. When the booster box at release costs more than the top chase card in the set, who's going to buy it and who's going to rip it? Because best case scenario is that you break even. Worst case scenario is you just get shit on. So what's going to happen is, if I have a read on this, is that the booster boxes will go down, will continue to go down from $199, which you can buy today. They will continue to go down, and we might even see MSRP. Now, if they continue to go down, what happens to the LCSs who, over the last 12 to 18 months, have been instructed, hey, maybe we shouldn't sell at release because we've seen over the last few sets that everything's getting blown out, and if you can wait to sell that from 4, 8, 12 weeks post-launch, everything is going up. So why don't we just trickle out a few products here and wait for the market to do what it's always done? But if there is no growth, then the LCSs are going to get nervous and they're going to have to sell their supply onto the market, which will drive the prices down even further. I'm not an LCS. I have no idea if they're doing this. I'm just hanging out with my spider friend in the basement. But this is something you should think about. And now I've been hammering this point home since I started this channel. Perfect Order, I believe, to be the harbinger of the end of the good times of this bull market. We need a bear market. We need it now. We need those cheeks to get slapped. And we need them to get slapped hard too. No. Ain't no friendly. The fuck is this? Where were we? Okay, so when the market corrects, LCSs are going to unload their excess supply that they've been holding on to because they know they've seen the pattern. They're not stupid. They're trying to make money too. You think they're the good guy? Some of them are. But a lot of them need to make money so that they can stay in business, so that they can keep having... When there's money to be made, people are going to make it. That's just the brutal truth. That's the brutal truth of every single market. And when the money is no longer, when the faucet turns off and the money printer goes from full on, we're just printing everything, to a trickle, you're going to see dynamics change. So look forward to this next week. It's going to be, this is the most exciting release that we've had since Surging Sparks. The set where people finally started to catch on. Hey, look, this Pokemon thing is kind of getting insane. And now, 18 months later, we have another set coming out that's exciting for the opposite reasons, but no less overall exciting to me. Okay, I think that's all I'll discuss for today. I think I'm going to shelf the perfect order conversation until release window plus a week or so. Oh, I wanted to address one thing too. Holy subscriber blowout. So I guess a lot of you came from the eBay, the eBay conversation. I had to re-record the outro because I screwed it up so bad. So here it is. A lot of people came over from the eBay videos. First of all, thank you for your support. It really means a lot. A lot of people really like what I have to say. A lot of people really didn't like what I have to say. Oh, another scalper. Like, whatever. A lot of people are like, dude, shut up. You're blowing up my spot, man. And to that I say, I'm disinclined to acquiesce to your request. Means no. If you know what that's from, let me know. Let me know. It's a good movie. But seriously, what you can expect on this channel, I'm going to make a full video about who I am, what I'm trying to do, about the Spider Buddy. And a couple things you can expect. You're going to see unfiltered opinions. You're going to see honest takes on whatever I'm seeing, whatever I see in the market. I'm just going to do here. I'm going to tell you guys about exactly what the moves that I'm making. I don't see many people in this space doing the exact moves. And I'm going to show you the behind the scenes of somebody who has clawed their way up to this level of cardboard. That's a lot of cardboard to get through. So anyway, I have noticed. I super appreciate it. And we're going to keep going. So thank you. See ya.